A4 and I'm going to do this. And I'm going to save this as just a text file. Okay? Plain, okay, text. And let's just check that that has gone to the desktop. And I'm going to open up another tab. And that looks like it hasn't worked, so it does something wrong. Let's do this again. Save as PDF. PDF goes to plain text. And I'm going to go there. And I'm going to replace that. And I'll go here. Date created. I'm going to open this. And there I go. And what I do is this. Oh, that was wrong. Now these are actually, I could summarize these in my own words, but I really think that this is a really good summary. Oopsie daisy. I save that as a Word document. Boop. And let me get rid of all the formatting. Boop. And I'm going to use this as a kind of an indented thing because I really like, that's a great summary. Family Sufi lineages. So I'm going to do that. There's going to be another quote. Okay? And this is from page number 7. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to put a heading there. And I think that's about right now. And I'm going to do this. And boop. And I can just put that into a text that I'm working on. Okay? So let me just show you again what I did. And please forgive me if I'm, going a bit fast. I had a PDF of this book. I got the book. I scanned the book. I actually listened to the book while I was travelling, and I made a note in a notebook of the things that I really liked about it. And you can see that I haven't actually gone back and annotated this. But what I did is that I highlighted sections that were relevant. Now for this PDF, I have an EndNote reference. There's the EndNote reference. I can do a number of things, and one of the conveyor belts, one of the ways that I can get from book to read the book, to interact with the book, to get the sections that are relevant to my needs in a form that I can use in my writing, is for me to highlight the PDF, and in the section that I've highlighted at the bottom, put the EndNote code, and that was page 7. No. Let's do this again. Yeah, that was page 7. And then what I did is I went to the comment section. So on the right hand side here we've got tools, we've got comments. I go to the comments section, and this tells me that I've got 4 comments. I go to this section here, options. I create a comment summary. I'm only interested in the sections that I have found to be important or useful. So I only want to do that. I want an A4, and then I pressed create. Now, it's not particularly helpful. What I could do is I could copy that and paste it, but I'm probably going to use loose and formatting. So what is easier for me to do is to go save as, and I choose a plain text, and then I save, and I'm going to replace that. And then what I have on my desktop, I open that up. Okay. Now, I'm just going to, you see all the formatting is there? I'm going to get rid of all the formatting. Book. The EndNote code is there. That's from page 2. That's from page 7. That is from page, oh, I didn't put that in. So this is by far the easiest way for you to be keeping a track of, this is okay, I'm losing my train of thought. I think, do you get it? Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So, EndNote, Adobe, and Word. So they're all linked together. They're all linked together. So in the old days, it was books, highlighting maybe index cards, but this is for me my local equivalent. Okay.
So you're putting these, we'll have multiple references, so you're putting these into one separate notes file for each book or each reference. How, is that what you're doing? So like creating these books, as you read the reference, then you're creating a notes file per reference.
We read for different reasons. Sometimes we've got a very specific task for us to be reading. So Stephanie is at the stage where she's getting to grips with the literature, she's preparing a bibliography, she's trawling through anything and everything to do with Baluch. Maybe language use, maybe language loyalty, maybe language and identity. Let's start at the end. All of us at different stages of our careers are writing different things, okay? Some of them are very specific conference papers, so I'm meant to be writing a conference paper. I have to present it on Monday and I haven't started yet, so I've got a late night ahead. So, some of us, and I'm unlikely to kind of get to talk about this, but in the future will talk about how I use mind maps to talk about a short listing PDFs that I'm likely to be using for specific projects. And again, there is a dark side to opening a folder on our computer and dragging in PDFs, creating more than one copy, and then reading those PDFs and highlighting those PDFs while we're working on a specific topic. And so what I do now, and I may be able to quickly demonstrate how I'm doing it, is and I'm not sure whether I've really understood your question, so please interrupt me, but this is, if I'm working on a specific thing, a conference paper, so I'm giving a conference paper in Indonesia on Monday, and it's going to be talking about how we study subnational conflicts. And so I've gone through my PDFs and I've done keyword searches on the phrases that I'm interested in looking at, and I have pulled those PDFs, I've linked those PDFs to a mind map. Now, I haven't shifted the location of the PDFs, but in a mind map I can click on a shortcut to a PDF and it will take me to the part of the academic library folder that has the PDFs. Now, I may also have already read some of these PDFs. If I know which ones I've read, I can just go in here and I can see, have I read and annotated this? So that will take me to the parts that I've read already. And so it's really just keeping it's every the main pieces of software that I use are Finder, okay, because this is where I have a very logical way and a very broad way of filing things. So PDFs go here, MP3s from my fieldwork go there, pictures from my fieldwork go there, and so I've got references for all of these PDFs in EndNote. If I am reading in the PDF, I will do highlights, and I might also put EndNote references. I can export that, and then I would usually create a note file that is exactly the same as the PDFs, except that it has the word note on the front. And they are usually the building blocks for me to be doing my reading and my thinking, and then adding in what I think and how I synthesize, how I agree or disagree with what has been written. But I need to know where to find these things, and I may know how to find these things by the author name or the keywords in the title. Things are evolving, and we will not have the opportunity to talk about indexing software. Those who use Mac will have facilities to far better native indexing capabilities than Windows uses, but even Macs, the capacity, the speed with which we can get information will be increased by installing a program such as Copernic Desktop Search or Foxtrot Professional Search. And so what these will allow me to do is I can say, I find something by this author, search for, let's look at linguistic. Let's how about we do something like apathy. Now I want to check this as a phrase, linguistic apathy. Apathy. That didn't work, did it? Okay, linguistic. And let's go language loss. So I've indexed my hard drive, and what I can do is when I use this indexing software, it's kind of like every word on every page of these PDFs has been indexed, and this is why it's so important when you start a doctorate or start a master's, you file things in a logical way and you don't mess with the filing of the folder, with the filing of the individual PDFs. If you use these indexing functions, then what I'm able to do is I am able to, there are many different uses of these indexing software packages, but the most important is that these will allow me to find out about, I could go into Word, I could go into Mac Finder and just search the phrase language loss. Now, if I want the phrase, if it's in Finder, I have to use quotation marks to find the phrase. If I don't put the phrase, the quotation marks in, all the PDFs that have the word language and the word loss will come up. But you know that that is not particularly useful for you, because then you may have 5,000 PDFs with the word language loss. but you don't know actually which is most relevant. Now, I've got thousands of PDFs, and I've got 145 PDFs with the phrase language loss. Now, let me just change this. Why don't I talk about language loss and conflict? Now I've got 121. Now, how about I do this? Why don't I do ethnic conflict? And what do I have to do here? I change to consecutive words. Okay, I've now got 46. But if I did this, I couldn't do this in a normal finder. If I put ethnic conflict language loss, if I put ethnic conflict language loss with no quotations, every PDF with the word ethnic conflict language and loss would come up. If I did ethnic conflict and then language loss, then I would still get 46, but I would have no idea about how relevant that is. So I have used this phrase, and there are two occurrences of this phrase in an article that I wrote a while ago. Okay? But what is the most relevant place for you to start reading if you were wanting to read on the issue of language loss and ethnic conflict? It would be in Austin's edited volume, The Cambridge Handbook of Endangered Languages. And what I would do is then I could go through and I could look at where these were clustered. And if I wasn't a native English speaker, what I could do is this. So I can see a cluster here. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Such sudden language loss, also called abrupt language loss, is relatively uncommon when you, combining diaresis, over 2003. By and large, language loss comes about with language shift and language utterance.
How are they ranked?
These are ranked, I've chosen to rank these by the number of occurrences of these phrases